child and others holding. I was going right to your calls, but I forgot I got Joe Biggs and the crew popping in with any new info from the secret black site in Chicago where people have died, where torturers have been trained and sent overseas. Amazing information. They've got a lot of intel coming out over the weekend, and this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m., we'll have the big data dump for you here live on air. They'll still be in Chicago, but it's wind chill below zero, about 13 degrees out there right now, so I'm not going to keep them long. Joe Biggs, you've been harassed a little bit since you've been out there with Josh. What's happened since we talked to you an hour ago?
Roger that. Right after the show, Alex, and as we were saying, we're standing right outside of the Hammond Square location still west of Chicago. We pulled down the road a little bit just to kind of get away so we could shoot a couple reports and just sit back and look at what's going on. We had 2 police Tahoes come in, do U-turns, and kind of block us off at the road. They watched us while we and as soon as we got back to the car, they drove up beside us, one pulled up behind us, and the guy said, oh, where are you guys from? And, what are you doing? And they just kind of laughed and waved at us and then drove off. Then we walked up the street a little bit, and people kept driving by, looking at us, shaking their heads. A guy came out of the parking lot over here and goes, oh, Guantanamo, huh? That's funny, yeah. And then just walked back inside. So clearly they're watching us right now. But, we're out here to uncover what's going on, the illegal activities that are happening up there. I understand there is a need for undercover work and all that, but I just find it's weird, though, don't you, Alex, that a man, for no reason, pulls into the bank parking lot to tell us he's undercover and then tell us to be safe and watch our backs, basically, and then just drives off. Like, why would you, if you're undercover and you're worried about getting killed, why would you pull up there where we're filming?
Well, Joe, it's obviously a threat. In fact, I heard some of it, but I was too busy talking over you when he pulled up. I mean, I heard him say, you better erase that. You better, you better be safe.
Yeah, he says you better erase it. I don't want to get killed.
So repeat everything he said to you, because it sounds like a threat.
Yeah, he drove up and he goes, hey, can you not record me? I don't want to get killed out here. Can you not have any footage of this? And I said, well, this is live. And he's like, well, then you just need to be safe. You just need to be safe.
And then he kept saying, erase that tape.
Yeah. Well, you can't erase live footage, sir. That's how it happens.
Well, Joe, all I can say is, we have 6 or 7 7 different London Guardian reports that I've seen. I'm told more are coming out. This was broken by local lawyers. People have died in here. They've held people for up to 2 days secretly. Peaceful protesters, 18 hours shackled to the wall.
Yeah, and what the police officer said to that lady when she was shackled there, right before they shackled, they said, welcome to Hammond Square. We're going to give you a tour of hell.
Yeah, and then you've got Rumsfeld involved and the Defense Department right through to today with people trained there, then sent to Guantanamo Bay. So, I remember years ago they had a federally funded checkpoint on IH-35. It was so insane. They, at like 8 at night, I start getting the calls. I-35 is shut down. I mean, I-35 has traffic sometimes at midnight on it through Austin. I mean, it's the busiest thoroughfare in the country from Canada right down to Mexico. You live here, Joe. It's a nightmare. You can't even use it from like 7 in the morning till about 10 in the morning, from about 4 up till about 7. I mean, it's horrible.
It's horrible.
And it's in my film, Police 80,000. They had it shut down from Kyle, south of Austin, to Round Rock, like 20 miles, with cars rolling 3 miles an hour, randomly searching people. And I get out there, and the cops come over and go, oh, Jones, what are we doing, black? I mean, I have video of this. Black helicopters? Are the Serbians going to get me? So here you are, total tyranny. It's an admitted secret black site. All this stuff's going on, and they're laughing, making jokes. They told The Guardian, what are we, CIA? Obviously, there's probably legitimate police work going on. It's a giant facility. But we know multiple floors of that baby are blacked out, and people are, quote, enhanced interrogation. Well, just because they changed the name, Joe, doesn't mean it's not torture.
Exactly. When I talked to the defense attorney, the one who broke the sword of the garden the other day on the phone, he said that he had spoken with some other journalists in the area who were kind of downplaying the whole thing. And the journalists were going, well, we've been in there. They hold press conferences at Hammond Square all the time. I've never seen anything. And the defense attorney, Anthony Hill, he goes, well, have you ever been up on the second, third floors at all? And they're like, no. He's like, yeah, they don't allow anybody up there because that's where they're beating and torturing people.
Well, they sell this in Hollywood movies where the good cops have got the child killer, or they've, they catch the guy, they don't know where the child's being held, so they start beating him. If you really knew you had some child molester who'd been convicted before, and you found him with photos of a child tied up, and you had intel that the kid, was going to be killed or only had so much oxygen, there is a time probably to get rough with somebody, okay? But you don't codify it in law. You don't push it. You don't industrialize it. The truth is, back in 2004, then I'm going to calls, let you get back to reporting, and they arrested a bunch of people in New York. They arrested me for free speech. I got put in a substation, thank God. They took 2,000 people at the RNC in 2004 to a giant old bus terminal over the river, ran the buses, made jokes about it, held them for days, no lawyers, didn't enroll their names, no nothing, as a giant test of tyranny. So I've experienced this, and we know this is going on, and it's very dangerous to set this precedent, and it's not a joke.
Yeah, this is stuff that we keep seeing popping up. I mean, they keep going after the protesters, people out there exercising their freedom of speech, and just then being on the sidewalk, it's still not good enough. They want you to get further back. We were in California, Murrieta, they kept pushing us in smaller zones. We're in Ferguson, they were pushing us, and they would push people into the streets and then arrest them for impeding the flow of traffic. I mean, it's complete, total tyranny. It's out of control, and America needs to wake up to this, and that's what we're going to keep doing. We're going to keep coming out here, exposing all this stuff, and it's good that there's going to be a protest tomorrow. It's good that people are going to come out. I think everyone in America should be pissed off that something like this is happening right here on our home turf.
And again, this facility wasn't even known about. I mean, this is about starting to pay attention, starting to become aware. I want you to get a list of the civilian inmate labor camp program. There were 18 of them. Now it's classified. The latest stuff's classified, but I'm told it's over 100. But there are bases in Texas you guys can go to where they have the civilian inmate labor camp program. And they're primed with state and federal prisoners doing basically slave labor, but it's prepared in the documents for civil unrest to put us in forced labor camps. So if folks want to see the real FEMA camps, they're there. They're just not called FEMA camps. I want you guys to go cover the civilian inmate labor camp program after you get back from Austin. Thank you so much, Joe. Tell folks what time the demonstration for free speech and not having secret prisons and secret torture centers, what time that is tomorrow.
It's supposed to start tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'm assuming this is the only access road. So right here across from Hammond Square, we'll be out here. We're going to be talking to individuals, trying to find out if anybody's been detained here in this area that's going to show up, even maybe try to get that lawyer out here. I think tomorrow is going to be really great. There's going to be a lot of people that I've heard of driving from Wisconsin, from other surrounding areas, who are going to come out here and support this. So this is good to see people pissed off and want to come out and support it.
Well, we'll put a live feed box up on Infowars.com, and I'm sure somebody will come up and coordinate with you guys to put your live feed box. And I'm not going to handle it, guys. Just handle it. Whoever wants to get it done with the guys. So on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com, there's a live feed, not even so much through our system, but through, what are we using? We're using Ustream right now. We'll have a Ustream box up tomorrow at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com so that everybody can actually be there in spirit, at least, who can't make it up there to Chicago. But that's very important. Joe Biggs and Josh Owens, a great job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay, now I'm going to shut up and go to your phone calls. I want to get to everybody here. Alan in Chicago, you're on the air talking about black sites. Go ahead.
Yeah, Alex, born and raised in Chicago, 50 years old. The whole gangster mentality, Al Capone and everything. I know Chicago's no worse than any other big city, but if this does not open the eyes of the American people, when we went crazy over Abu Ghraib, if we don't, as Americans, and this is in Obama's backyard, Rahm Emanuel's backyard. We just had a mayoral election that's going to go to a runoff. If these people didn't know about it, or there should be an investigation, and all of America ought to be down with Joe Biggs tomorrow for this, because this is the watershed moment. If we have black sites in America, in the president's hometown, in his chief of staff, now mayor's hometown, it's over, Alex. If you can start taking people, citizens off the street, and putting them into this, all our civil rights. I know the guns, net neutrality, forced vaccines is an issue. If you can start just taking people off and dumping them in and they disappear, this is now vindication of what you mentioned about all the NDA action. This is an NDAA site, period.
The London Guardian's proven it, the lawyers have, and the department now admits they kept it secret. Let me quantify this. Bloomberg lost in federal and state court that the police were frisking upwards of 300,000, 400,000 people a year. It varied, without probable cause, without a warrant, without even detaining them. They would just randomly search folks. And I get there's a lot of scum and a lot of criminals in New York City, but still, you start doing that, you're living in North Korea. It always goes bad. It's unconstitutional. How about the prisons actually hold the violent offenders instead of releasing them? That's the answer. And release the nonviolent. But no, they have actuaries where they release, the statistics are there, you can look them up. They release the violence quicker than the nonviolence because the nonviolence are easier, they work in prison industries.